Chapter 3. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations, and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations, and parted my land. And they shall have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabeans, to a people far off, for the Lord hath spoken it. Proclaim ye among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up, beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears, let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened, and come up to the family of Jehoshaphat, to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. The Lord also shall roar out of Zion, and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. But the Lord will be the hope of his people, and the strength of the children of Israel. So shall ye know that I am the Lord your God, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall be no strangers pass through here any more. And it shall come to pass in that day that the mountains shall drop down new wine, and the hills shall flow with milk, and all the rivers of Judah shall flow with waters, and a fountain shall come forth out of the house of the Lord, and shall water the valley of Shittim. Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness, for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. But Judah shall dwell forever, and Jerusalem from generation to generation. For I will cleanse their blood that I have not cleansed, for the Lord dwelleth in Zion. In the final chapter of Joel here, we have the Lord's statement that he will gather all nations. Israel has been scattered, but in the latter days she will be blessed. Her oppressors, however, will be dealt with. It says in the valley of Jehoshaphat, the valley of decision. Now, there is some discussion as to what might be meant by the valley of Jehoshaphat. It's only referred to here, so we don't have any other independent witness of what it is. There's a few people that think they know about it. It was someplace where one particular king, Jehoshaphat, basically had a battle and wiped out Moab, but it's about 11 miles from Jerusalem. It's not really the best spot for it. The best spot, in terms of earthly thinking, on my earthly thinking right now, is actually the Kidron Valley, which runs between Jerusalem and the Mount of Olives, and seems to be the winding up scene for the final scenes of the Battle of Armageddon. That would be, if I had to pick one, that would be my pick. I'm not the Lord, and I'm not Joel, so I don't know for sure what he meant. It may have been just a generic valley, just some valley that he picked, but if it has anything to do with the coming of the Lord and the Battle of Armageddon, Kidron Valleys are right there. Now, basically, in the very final scenes, Jerusalem will have been half captured. Then the Lord will appear on the Mount of Olives. There will be a great earthquake, will strike the massive Gentile army. Jesus will appear, and the Mount of Olives will split in half. These verses that are here in this chapter, by the way, as far as I consider, be the Lord's declaration of war on sin and oppression of his people. He's letting those people know what he's going to do. Now, he's going to smite the enemies the Jews are going to leave the city of Jerusalem and go into where the Mount of Olives has split for protection. And the Lord basically will smite the enemies of Israel and Judah with plagues. And the plagues, it said, will be so severe that it will rot the flesh off of the bones of those people, and their eyes and their tongues will be consumed in their sockets. You can take a look at Zechariah chapter 14, verses 12 to 15 for a little bit more information on that one. Judah will know that Christ is their Lord, and when the Mount of Olives is split, they will recognize him, they will see the tokens, and their mourning their M-O-U-R, their grief will be great, because they will recognize two very important things. Number one, that they rejected him over 2,000 years ago. And number two, their fathers and grandfathers and all of the people have suffered all kinds of oppression and terror and all kinds of death and destruction because of their hard-hearted, stiff-necked refusal to be obedient to the gentle commandments that the Lord gave them when they were an independent people 2,000 years or so ago. Now, in the last days, Jerusalem is to be pure. No strange gods will be allowed to enter there. No impure person will be allowed to enter there. You may not, and if you're an impure person, you're not worthy to enter into a place like that. You won't be allowed to even go through. It says in the last days the hills will flow with milk, and milk was the ideal food for the Jews in some ways, because it needed no preparation. You just took it from the goat or the sheep. They had milk sheep, and you could just drink it, and it was very nourishing, and it was a complete food, and you could use it to make cheese and other things with, but it was an ideal source of food. So a place flowing with milk and honey was considered to be the ideal place, and that's what the Promised Land was, and would have been for them if they had been individually righteous and been righteous as a people. It was their insistence on worshiping false gods, idols, and rejecting the Lord that brought all of this on them. All of the stuff they've gone through for 2,000 years. It doesn't mean that it's okay with the Lord that it happened to them, because he will deal with all the people that oppress them. They will know hell. But he warned them for hundreds of years, sent prophets unto them for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, and tried every way, and it was only their hard-hearted insistence on not giving up their idols, not giving up their idol worship, destroying their own children in idol worship, that caused him to ultimately reject them and drive them out. But he still loves them enough that he's going to try and reclaim them.